I have started recording the meeting just a few minutes in advance.
Jake says he's having trouble getting connected.
I can send him a direct link.
Yes, do that. That helped.
He's had a heck of a time with email from me. I have used 4 different email addresses for him today, but give it a try.
Okay, sent it.
Hey.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Try to get Josh connected.
I'm here.
I'm sorry, Jake. I'm having a. This has been
Different J.
Yes, the other
Different J name.
Yes.
I sent Jake a direct link via his Yanchar Law and his library emails.
And I sent him one to another as well, and we'll see what happens. Well, I'll keep trying with Jake. I think you do have a quorum now, though.
Yeah, I see at least 5 of us here. So do you want me to call it to order? I guess that's me this time. Okay. Let's call this shindig to order. Let's call this meeting to order. We'll need a roll call.
Paul? Kate?
Yes.
Josh?
Yep.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
And Karen is absent and no Jake yet.
Jake is still trying,
Okay.
but not yet.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to print off the agenda so that I can actually make, since I got to do official stuff, I got to write on it. Okay, first thing we need is an approval of, well, actually, no, we need the approval of the minutes from last time.
I move.
I have Paul made a motion. Did someone second it though?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Kate.
I think I can't hear Paul at all.
Paul is muted. If he can unmute himself, I can just read his lips.
Aha.
All right.
Yes, slightly.
Thanks,
you-
Paul.
Yep.
I can't hear you. Yes.
Cool. All right, so we got the approval, so we need to vote on it.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got an approval. Gotta get back in the loop. I haven't done this in years. I remember how this works again. Okay, communications. Did we have any communications this time? I don't remember.
Not currently, no.
Okay. All right, so that's good. And then the agenda. Do we have any new additions to add to the agenda?
I'll move approval of the agenda as presented in the board packet.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we've got an agenda too. All right, and that brings us up to fiscal officer's report.
Okay, I have a long one, as you can see. First off is I just need approval for the disbursements and gifts from August.
Full of disbursement.
All right, I have Paul.
I'll second.
Second.
Kate, second.
Okay, and roll call next. That's money.
Okay, Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
You want me to move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'd like approval to rescind the cost-saving measures, the remaining ones that were implemented in April. And I have them listed there.
Okay.
And my
we're
reasoning, I don't
we're
know if
looking
we
pretty
gotta
good
go in-
money wise.
Yes, because
Good.
I mean, most of these impact staff, and that's where we've made the cuts. We've made cuts to, of course, to hours and furloughed people, and so it kind of makes sense maybe to give a little back.
Okay.
And we are seen more webinars on, people are still wanting to do continuing education and do webinars, but some of them are starting to come through with fees involved, which with this freeze, we can't just approve. I'd have to come to the board for each one of those.
I move
Okay.
the remaining cost-saving measures.
Oh, Paul made a motion. Yeah.
We need a second.
I thought he asked a question. All right. Yeah, if you need a second, I'll second.
Okay. And roll call.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, and then I need approval of new bank depository agreements. I just have two, one from PNC and one from First National. That's where we have all of our money. All the other banks did not send me one. They would start October 1st and they run for 5 years. This is every 5-year thing.
Okay. You gonna need a signature from board president at some point, or is it just?
Yes, I
approval
already
and-
talked to Kate about it. I think she's going to scan it over to me.
Okay. All right. So we just need a motion and a second.
I move we approve the bank depository agreements.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Roll call.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Josh,
Yep.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, and then I need approval to accept the CARES Act grant funds. It's $150,000. They have to be used by the end of the year. And I need just approval to accept those funds and then to create the new fund with any accounts that's needed to do
So,
the revenue and expense.
so move.
I'll second that.
All right. Roll call.
Paul, Kate,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
And I need approval to transfer the $3,000 from the mini grant that it was in the last board packet. Originally, the information was we could put this in the general fund, but now some of the information I'm receiving says they want it in a separate special revenue fund. So I just need to transfer that money from the general fund into the 201, the restricted grants fund.
I move the,
I'll second.
And roll call.
Paul,
yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
We have Jake.
Yes.
Jake has
Okay.
joined.
I'm here, but I don't know what we're voting on. Sorry.
We're gonna be on 6F.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Sorry for the delay.
We'll forgive you this one time.
Okay, and I'd like approval to change the operating policy 303, which is the budgetary level of control. And if you remember the ones that were here when we did the bond money, you approved that I could move funds within that 450 fund without going to the board.
Uh-huh.
The general fund, if I move it from personnel to supplies, I have to go to the board and get that approval. So I would like the 201 fund and the 202 fund, those grant funds, that I have that same level of control as I do for the capital improvement. Just because I'm not sure how we're going to be spending those funds, whether it's going to be supplies, if it's going to be equipment. And so having that ability just for me to move it within that fund would be helpful. And they all have to be spent by the end of the year. Well, the big one has to be spent by the end of the year anyhow, so.
Okay. And I don't know if this matters as far as the record keeping and stuff, but in the agenda it references policy 304, and it says in here you're actually talking about policy 303. I don't know if it matters that those don't match or not as far as.
And I'm
Put
not
it,
sure which one it is. The title's the same. Is that good enough?
I figured you'd get the right one changed. I just didn't know if
Yeah.
it mattered.
There's
Yeah,
only
matched
one
up.
budgetary level of control policy, so.
Okay, Paul, I have a motion from Paul.
I'll second.
All right, roll call.
Paul, Kate,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
Okay, and then to reflect the new funds, I need approval of amended appropriations so I can spend the money. And those are attached.
I move we let
This is the
Lisa spend
actual
money.
important one. So we can spend
Yeah,
the
that was all leading up
Gosh.
to this one.
So moved.
I can second again.
Okay.
And roll call.
Paul,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Josh,
Yes.
Larry,
Yes.
Raymond.
Yes.
And the last two items are just FYI, I was elected to the OLC's Library Accounting Division. I'll serve for 2 years, and they basically plan conferences for the state fiscal conferences. And we did receive, I don't know if you remember, we received approval to start using credit cards to pay our, basically Ingram for materials. And we did receive a check over $1,000 back on that, and it's a lot less, about half of what we estimated we would get because our spending has not been the same and we didn't expand it. We started with Ingram and we were going to expand it, and we hadn't expanded it while we were on shutdown and reduced hours. So we're going to expand that now, and hopefully in 6 months we'll have more than that. That's
All
it.
right, sounds good. All right, director's report.
Okay, so yeah, I missed actually quite a bit of a couple of week period with some issues. So you're getting a very abbreviated report, but things continue to move on. Should be in here. It was in the packet about the change management. So that's the only thing that we'll have to vote on. That'll be in new business. I know Larry Corbus wanted to be here to talk about the pergola outdoor children's space, and I think that'll probably be in the next board meeting, but he wanted to add some words about that. We do need to consider, we're going to meet tomorrow to talk about what we're going to do for essentially ribbon cutting ceremonies for all these buildings as time goes on. Yes, we have gas line. I don't know if it's actually working yet. I haven't confirmed that it
Hello?
is. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, not for a minute. I couldn't, but
Oh, I apologize. Did everybody else lose me?
No, I could hear you.
Okay.
I could hear you okay.
And then Bainbridge, again, I keep saying, if you have time, take a look because it goes fast and they close up the walls and it's going to be done before you know it. So take a quick peek if you can. I did get a response back from John Stoddard that the architect is hoping to use all the stuff from Newberry for their new Berkshire facility, but I don't. They haven't gotten anything beyond yet. They're still working on that, and that's really it.
Then, if you haven't been by the Bainbridge one lately, it's starting to look pretty impressive from the road. It's not a small facility. And because of the way the land slopes down there on the front, it even looks, to me, even more impressive from the front. So
Up on the
swing
hill.
by and take a look.
And when you're inside, it's gigantic. It just is huge. So get a feel if you can.
All right. All right, that brings us to Assistant Director's report.
Okay, I don't have much to add, but we do have an update on the Gardner Center. We opened up at the Gardner Center for business today. It was our first day. Everything is in there. It's ready to go. The staff are working well there. And I was there at about 3 today, and we'd already had 54 people through. So the patrons are finding it, and they are using it. That's more people than we expected on the first day. So that is going well, and the facilities and the staff at Bainbridge did a great job, and tech services, getting everything over there and making sure everyone has what they need, and IT as well. A lot of people were involved in getting that space set up, and they did a nice job. And then I did want to highlight that we did increase our circulation, and I'm not doing month to, year to year comparisons anymore, but our circulation increased 7.5% over July, and our e-circs are continuing to go up, and they went up 5% more. So we are serving the patrons, and our staff is doing really well with the virtual programming, and that increased 55% in August over the previous month. So even though we are limiting services, the patrons seem to be getting a lot of services from what we're able to do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that brings us to Human Resources.
Hello, everyone. I need approval on the human resource actions. There were 3 resignations, 1 promotion, and there's 4 transfers.
Okay. Okay. Need a motion for those?
I'll move the approval of the human resource actions.
Second.
Okay, and roll call.
Paul? Kate?
yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Next is request for approval of the server software specialist job description. And there were changes and a classification change on that.
What does the classification change really entail? I honestly blanked out when I looked at that earlier.
Sure, it was at professional staff, and now we put it down to library assistant 4.
Okay.
So that
All right.
means that that person or that position will not have I think the only thing is the vacation, and the pay is a little different according to the 270 job classification policy.
So the pay scale. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When it was originally classified higher, it was also an exempt position, but I believe that adjusted like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So that was what it was essentially for. That was my memory of that.
Is the position currently vacant?
Yes, that
Yes.
was vacated last month, and that was on the board report last month.
Okay.
The other Josh.
There's 3 total descriptions. Do you want us to do each one separately, or do we want to do all 3 of them at the same time? Does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me. It's up to you.
I'm
Save
fine with
time
it. If
to-
anybody wants to motion that way, we can do it all at once and knock those 3 out. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Looks like
Paul.
Paul gave us a motion. Anybody got a second?
Sure, I'll second.
Thanks, Kate. And then roll call.
Paul? Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Okay. Brings us to lots of policies.
Yes, lots of policies. So the first one is revising and renumbering policy 644, which was holidays and closings, to renumbering it to 590. And we had a kind of almost the same thing, and it was called policy 727, full-time paid holidays and other closings. So I kind of combined those so it would be less confusing for staff. So that's approval needed for the renumbering and a slight revision of 590.
Yeah, it doesn't look like, looking through this, like we're changing anything. It's just housekeeping, right?
Right. There's
Okay.
just a couple things added from the 727 to that new numbering of 590 and getting rid of 644.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Move.
I'll second the motion.
Jake. All right, and roll call on that one.
Paul?
Actually,
Kate?
was that a motion for both E and F because we were creating one and deleting the other? Is that how that worked?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what Paul meant.
9E
He said
and
that's
9F
totally what
together?
Paul said. E and F together, yeah.
Okay. Paul? Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Okay. The next one is policy 820. It's called resignation, and added in there for part-time payout of anniversary hours, as that only mentions for full-time vacation payout when resigning. So wanted to update that to reflect.
Okay.
I'll move the approval of this policy.
All right. And a second.
I'll second.
Jake. All right. Roll call on that one.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
And lastly, approval to delete personnel policy 546, as that was actually discrimination and harassment. And we had approved, 2 months ago, I think, policy 213, which actually has the exact same wording. The minor changes were the headers, and I removed that when I did 213, but I did not realize that 546 was hanging out there somewhere. Did not find it, did not see it, and finally did find it. And so just wanted to let you know that I did renumber that into policy, into the 200 section, employment and pay practices, from section 500, which was employee relations and responsibilities. So actually deleting out 546 is approval needed.
Okay.
I move we delete 546.
Paul, you want a second since you guys at the same time?
And
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Paul
sorry.
second.
that's okay.
All right.
Okay.
Roll call on that.
Paul? Kate?
Yes.
Yes.
Jake? Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Okay. Moving right along up to committee reports. Do we have any committee reports this time?
We don't have any committee reports, but it is an excellent opportunity to, as I have the members of the Ad hoc Facilities Committee present, to try to herd the cats to say, can we all meet on a morning at 8 a.m. And we're at the end of the construction projects, and there's the bond money that is left over that we were setting aside for Chardon as we had sort of planned. But we should have a conversation about some of the items that were value engineered out. So Jake, you won't have seen this email yet since you were having difficulty getting it, but I'd sent it earlier to you and Kate and Raymond. And Kate and Raymond are in agreement of a Teams meeting. I just need to confirm that you could do an 8 a.m. meeting some weekday and we could work that out. Is that agreeable to Ray and Kate?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
Jake?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So after this meeting's over, I will get with you, Jake. We'll start with that and set a meeting and get everybody in, and we'll have the conversations about this. Okay, that's all I needed.
All right. And then that brings us to 11, unfinished business. I don't think we have any this time. Do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we don't have any. Next thing I see is 12, new business. And I do think we have a couple of things in there.
Yeah, these are the change orders. So these are, again, we have some positive. This is a happy change order of a negative, of a refund for bollards and construction of these bollards, which were at the Bainbridge site, and curb stops as well. So this looks like a total of, oh, and then we also have a change in the walk-off carpet. So I'm not sure if these are broken down into three things. And I was not present at the creation of the board packet when this was done because I was still not seeing.
This
We're
is
able to
listed
see.
as one change order number 7 for GMP number 2,
Okay,
for a total, a credit of $12,215.
there you go.
Yeah, it does combine all three. Okay. Yep.
So what do
Good.
we
It's
need?
always good to see we're spending less money. I like that.
Need a
Well, this minute.
We need a motion to approve the change order. Yes.
approve the change.
All right. We need a second.
Sure, I'll second.
All right, Kate. And roll call.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
All right. And then it says 12B, approval to close the Middlefield branch on election day. Is that still,
This
you still need
is,
to do that?
yes. This is because currently they still plan to have regular polls open on election day, and it will be too many people in the building for the safety of staff and the public. It would push us over our limits. So Chris has asked that we close to the public, but be open as a polling site on election day.
I'm actually asking for approval to close for in-person services only, and we would still do the curbside pickup of holds on that day.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
But we would not have any patrons in the building for in-person circulation, reference, browsing, or computer use. But we would still allow the pickup of holds because we will have staff there since we are going to have poll workers there.
Move.
Paul?
We need a second.
I'll second Paul's motion.
All right, and roll call.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Okay, and that brings us up to the discard list.
I'll move the approval of the discard list.
Second.
Okay, and roll call on that one.
Paul?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
All right. Okay, that brings us up to board development, which I don't believe we have any this time around, do we?
I just sent everybody a reminder about the trustee dinner for OLC. I think Kate had already signed up.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a thing you can do on Teams from home in your pajamas with a pizza. It's just going to be a presentation, so it's free. There's no cost to it. It's this Thursday, so if you have opportunity, this is probably the easiest trustee dinner to attend. Other than that, yeah, that was earlier today. I sent that.
Okay.
Hey, Josh,
And-
before we move to the next item, Ed, you might want to update the board on what's happening with Donnelly's, or if you prefer, I'll do that.
Oh, please. You have some pretty good first. I believe I shared that with the board, but maybe I only shared it with ad hoc facilities. I can't remember.
I
I
don't
did get
know.
an email
You
about
shared
it.
it with the board.
I shared
Okay,
it with the board.
then
Okay.
that's fine, as long as the board knows that change is coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it really affects us more than it's just some of
It will
the.
be seamless.
Yeah.
Counting on seamless.
As long as we get done before they turn the whole place over.
Yeah. Okay, that brings us up to foundation. Do we have any foundation business?
Hello.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi. So Foundation News. On September 3rd, Ed and Raymond and I held a meeting with the presidents of our 5 Friends of the Library organizations. We talked about our plan to create a new district-wide Friends group and invited them to join in the venture. What we're envisioning is to have a committee of Friends volunteers within the foundation, and their responsibilities as a committee would be to be responsible for the book sales, membership development, volunteer management, and making funding recommendations to the Geauga County Library Foundation and Friends, which we would rename ourselves, to that board. One of the members of the committee would sit on the Foundation and Friends board, and they would also oversee different volunteer work teams at each of the branches. And those volunteer work teams would be doing similar duties as they're doing now, as far as when we are accepting donations again, sorting through those donations, preparing for book sales, and just being kind of on the ground level at the branches. And each of those volunteer teams will be led by a team captain. So we are looking at doing this. Really, we're just looking to have one consistent voice with our fundraising groups throughout the county, with one common person, and really to build a sense of community around the system as a whole, as we've been doing in a lot of our marketing efforts and how we're presenting ourselves to the community as well. So following that meeting on September 9th, we had our foundation board meeting, and they voted in favor of new bylaws that outline these changes. and reflect this new structure. And they also approved an MOU that will be presented to the library, and an agreement about fundraising between the two entities. So next month, what we'll be asking the board to consider is to, we're going to be revising operating policy 410, which outlines the Friends of the Library, operating policy 420, which is specialized support groups, and operating policy 440, which outlines the Geauga County Library Foundation. So we will be working on those to present to the board for next month's meeting.
Okay.
So, and then in other news, we have been working diligently. I know I've been talking about it at some previous meetings about a fundraiser that we're doing, a virtual fundraiser called the Stay at Home and Read fundraiser, which isn't costing us any money since it's all going to be it's all digital. All of our promotion is going to be digital. All of our fundraising, there's nothing going to be going on in person. So we've been actively looking for sponsors, which we've raised about $750 so far in sponsorships. And we are also looking for celebrity spokespeople who are willing to do a little video of themselves or a picture reading with their cat in front of the fireplace with their glass of wine or their cup of tea and saying a few sentences about why reading is important and why libraries are important. And so far, my board has secured, let me see my list here. Well, Fran DeWine is going to be doing a little video, hopefully from her iconic front porch, talking about the importance of reading in libraries. We've also confirmed the Chardon Polka Band. Hopefully they'll do a little video, maybe make a little parody. We've also secured Ohio District Rep 99 Representative John Patterson, who's going to submit something, and some local authors were DM Pulley, who's a bestseller, The Dead Key, who's a local author who's excited to help us, and Thridi Umreiger is also going to send us a photo of herself reading at home. And then Stephanie Paganini, who's the local chef and cooking school, she's also going to participate in that. So hopefully we'll get some good promotion out of this. Our marketing is going to start October 1st, where we'll be relying heavily on social media and email marketing to get people to donate requested donation levels, starting at $25 for the cost of parking if you went downtown, all the way up to $250 if you had I don't know what anything costs. I haven't been out in a long time, but if you're going to Severance Hall and getting some tickets and dinner downtown. So we're hopefully going to have some fun with this and raise a little money. And like I said, without any overhead cost, every dollar that we make is just going to benefit the library. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Sounds great. That brings us up to comments from the public. I don't know how many we have today. I will remind anybody that wants to talk that there is a 5-minute limit because we all want to get out of here before sometime after midnight. And I will say that as far as any responses to anything anybody does have to say, if it's complex or requires research, we will get back to you with the information because we don't want to just talk off the cuff and respond to something and give you completely wrong information. So we may reserve the right to respond at a later time, but we will promise to respond. So if there's anybody in the public that would like to speak, now's the time to say.
Can I ask that if anyone is speaking, they give us their first and last name for the minutes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, all of the guests are muted, so I'm not sure how we would do that.
Are they able to raise their hands at the top bar?
Well, it looks like Erwin is able to talk. At least he's no longer muted. I don't know how. So for guests, if you want to talk and you are unable to unmute, there's a.
Oh, that was me just saying that's what they need to do.
Yeah. Just you can put your hand up.
Or if you are already unmuted, please feel free to speak up.
Hello, my name is Trudy Gordon, and I'm on the board at Geauga West. I would just like to share that there are a number of friends groups who are not in favor of this new Foundation and Friends organization being formed. We are talking with one another, and I would just like the board and the trustees to acknowledge that we do have an opinion in this, and we do have things we'd like to share.
Yeah, I would love to hear what your opinion is and why you are not happy with it within the 5-minute time limit that we have. So please.
First of all, we were not at all involved in the planning of this. We were blindsided by the decision that was made. And basically, we were giving an edict as to how this was going to work and why it should work. There are 3 groups that have already decided they prefer not to join. We haven't heard from the other 2. The friends groups at our 3 locations are doing quite well. And I think there could have been another collaborative plan where Friends and Foundation work together to support one another and specifically those groups that are having a bit of trouble. And I think that needs to be investigated.
Okay. Is there a particular reason why you don't like the idea of combining them?
What I've heard from most of our members is that we have worked incredibly hard to gain the number of members that we have, and we're committed to Geauga West. We don't feel that our giving of volunteers and monies to the foundation are in the best interest of our community.
Okay, I understand.
And I think the other 2 branches feel exactly the same. So unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be as easy as you would like it to be. And I think if we don't work together, we're not going to move forward. So
okay,
I've requested additional information. Hopefully that will be forthcoming. But we have until January to make our decisions known.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone else want to speak to this or any other topic? All right. I don't see any of those hand thingies going up. So does anybody else see anything that somebody might want to talk?
I have not.
Okay.
Oh, so
Oh, wait.
Easy, Ellen, Eileen Z.
Eileen,
Do you know how to unmute yourself, Eileen?
If you're on a computer, Eileen, up in the upper right area, there should be, it looks like a little microphone icon, and it'll have a slash through it, meaning that you're muted. And if you click on it, that should make you go unmuted, and then you should be able to speak. I'm not sure what the phone interface looks like, so I can't speak to that one if you're on a phone.
But there should be a little picture of a microphone, and you just have to click on it once, and it will toggle on or off. So there, it should just look like a microphone somewhere in there. I don't remember if Eileen was in our meeting Oh, she wasn't? Okay.
No, Eileen is a member of the Geauga West Board as well, and she was not at your president's meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
If you can communicate with her to tell her how to unmute, then we could get it, or she could also write whatever to the board and we could have it on record as in that capacity as well, if she wants.
Okay, do you suggest that for other Friends members and other board members? Would you like letters in writing as to how we're feeling?
You can if you want to. Yeah, absolutely. You can come here to the meetings and make your views known that way, or you can send in a letter. Either way is fine. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Other hand up.
Pope wants.
I beg your pardon? Oh,
Mike?
Mike's got his hand up, but I think that's not what he's doing.
That was an accident, sorry.
Okay.
All right. If no one else is looking to speak at this time, we're going to move on from the public comment. Appreciate your comments, Trudy. So that brings us to the end of the agenda. I think at this point, what we'd like to do as a board is, at least I propose, going into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. It is the last thing on the list. So if we go into executive session, obviously no one else will be able to hear it, but there won't be anything else that we come back for other than to just end the meeting. So what I'm telling you, all the rest of you, you're free to go about your day. You don't have to stick around. There's not going to be anything else interesting. This is just a personnel matter that the board needs to
Josh, I
discuss
need
ourselves.
more
Right.
definition other than personnel
I
issue.
know. I'm getting to it.
Okay.
It has
I'm sorry. It's supposed to be
Go
dis-
ahead.
possible disciplinary action of a public employee.
Disciplinary action of a public employee. Okay.
Possible disciplinary action. We just need to. We're not actually probably doing it. We're just discussing it.
Right. No, that I just need to know what you're discussing.
Yep. Sorry about that. Ed told me to say it that way, and I didn't read the right part of the text out loud. So
Specific
that's my
language,
fault.
yes. Okay.
I just need a motion to go
So
into
moved.
executive. And
So moved.
Second.
Right? All right, and probably need a roll call for that.
Okay, Paul? Kate?
Yes.
Jake?
Yes.
Josh?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
And I'm not sure how we do this.
So,
And I also need, I'll also need either call me back into the meeting. I need to know when you go back and then who,
when
what
we come
happened.
out, right? When
Yeah,
it-
when
and
we come out.
I could just go ahead and deal with that, and we'll do the timestamp for the adjournment, and the timestamp for
I don't need to
coming out.
know who, I don't need to know any
Right.
information from the emergency session.
Right.
I just
You
need
just
to
need to know the
who
timestamps.
moved to come back into regular session.
Right.
Yep.
And
And
the
the time, and then the time of adjournment.
And then the
And the time of
Okay.
adjournment for the whole meeting. Correct.
We can
So-
do that.
All right. Mike will cease the recording, and
I'm
we
stopping
will
now.
ask folks that are not on the board to